Hey guys, Takarakushi here again with another quick guitar lesson. And today's topic is how to play chords on the guitar. So if you've only been playing single notes up until now, chords present a unique set of challenges. And that's because with chords, we need to be able to sound multiple notes at the same time, or multiple strings at the same time. So what happens is that your fretting hand ends up having to do a lot of these almost contortionist-like movements in the fingers. So it's pretty difficult to get used to, but it's a very important skill to have as a guitar player. So the most important issue is to have clarity on the chords that you are playing. And the easiest way to confirm that you're playing the notes correctly is to test it by playing the chord one string at a time. So I'm going to demonstrate on a G major chord like this. And you want to do this as opposed to strumming, because when you're first learning chords, you're not going to know what the chord is supposed to sound like. So by doing this, you can easily confirm as opposed to just trying to catch it by ear. So oftentimes strings get muted because a fretting finger ends up contacting the string next to it. So in the case of G major, a common thing that can happen is that your fifth strings and your fourth strings can end up muted, kind of like this. So the fifth string gets muted because of the second finger here. The pad is touching the string. And then the fourth string can get muted because the same thing is happening in the first finger. And the way to fix this is that you want to get a little bit more on the fingertips, arch your fingers, so that the pad of the fingers can stay out of the way of the adjacent strings. Another way that you can approach this is by changing the angle of your fingers. Now, I will demonstrate this on a C major chord. So with C major, you can either have your fingers kind of oriented like this, and this is like having it in a 45-degree angle to the frets, as opposed to having it almost parallel with the frets like this. So in this position, a lot of people can have difficulty, again, end up muting strings. But if you do it like this, you push the pad of the fingers off to the side so they can stay out of the way a little bit easier. And what ends up happening is that you end up using not the front center tip of your finger, but you kind of go off to the side over here. If you're left-handed, that would be the left side of the finger. So unintentional muting is an issue when playing chords, but also intentional muting can be something difficult to learn. Some chords don't use all 6 strings, so we want to avoid sounding certain strings on those chords. And when you're doing this, the left-hand muting technique becomes crucial. So on a C major chord, you don't want this open 6th string to sound, because then you get this muddy kind of sound. So the way you avoid that, and to avoid accidentally hitting that string and sounding it, is that you can mute the 6th string using the tip of the 3rd finger, which is on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. So you might have to move it off of the fingertip a little bit, but once you're touching that 6th string, even if you hit all 6 strings, it won't be an issue. Some chords, like the D major chord, are a little bit more challenging. And the reason for that is because if you take a look at the D major chord, none of the fingers that are fretting right now are close enough to the strings that we want to avoid to mute them. So what we can do then is actually bring the thumb around over the top of the fingerboard and contact the lower strings, the 5th and 6th strings in this case, and mute them. So like this. Okay, and again, that way you can not worry about avoiding hitting them with your picking hand, and it makes things a lot easier. So those are the basic approaches to playing chords properly on the guitar. And I hope you found it helpful. So please remember to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell notification buttons so that you can keep up to date with this series. And if you'd like me to cover a specific topic, please let me know in the comments. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.